Welcome to the official AFL Fantasy podcast with the Traders.
G'day with the Traders. Thanks to Sportsbet. I'm Roy, I coach Destroy, and I'm here with Warnie.
Coach of the Wonder.
Calvin.
Coach of the mighty but sliding
You
Calvinator.
are sliding.
Roy.
Cal, we need to, this week, we stamp it out.
Oh, yeah, okay.
We stop the slide
Yep.
and start the climb back up to the top, where you should rightfully be for the first time in your career.
Well, that's right, Roy. Now, the buys have never been a strong
No,
point
they
of
haven't.
mine.
This is where we try to actually improve, though.
Yeah, well, I think my team's getting better every week.
Right.
But my ranking says, no, it's not, Cal.
Well, and that's the thing. So you thought you were on the right track.
Well, yes.
You're obviously not. Maybe you've had your tough buy rounds and this is your good one coming.
Do you know what I like stats.
Good
Yes.
one.
I went back and had a
Could
look
be
at
the
some.
case.
Round 12, Cal was 237th overall.
Oh, okay.
He's out to 547.
See,
Off
that's a
the
lot.
back of, what, an 1855
Yeah.
when the Crimean War continued with the French and British forces. Gold Rush in Australia was in full swing. And then other notable events, the Panama Railway was opened up. and
Okay.
that's what you do, isn't it? When you have a poor
I-
score and you try to throw shade.
The
Well,
thing is,
that's
though,
it. That's true, dog. I do deserve it.
the buys ain't over till they're over.
Well, that's right.
So you don't really know how you've gone until you get to the end of it. You see your rank, how it matches up to pre-buys. But more importantly, is your team set for the future? You could have straight swapped through all the buys and smoked it.
I'm hoping that's what some people have done,
Yes.
Roy. But I don't think
I don't
people
think-
aren't that silly anymore.
500 people have done it. But anyway,
Anyway, we'll work it
Anyway,
out. So,
we'll-
855 for Calvinator Destroy. You are next on the list. That means that you are second.
what?
Hang on.
What has happened?
I don't. Where's the podium gone, dog?
I know, Roy's taken the podium if he hasn't brought it back. The dog needs to be
Intentionally
sitting
this
up
week.
high.
Fair enough, too.
Intentionally this week. Yes, I do need to get that thing back. Now, 1914. Dog.
Yep.
I
What
don't
happened
have
then?
to say it. Well done.
Before
It's World War One,
World
dog.
War One?
Yep, no
1914.
history.
All right, that's going to fall.
It's
Nice.
not
Right.
a good idea, dog.
1914.
Yeah, all right.
The
And so you're
score I
up, but
got
you're
to
up.
quit.
But you're up.
Oh.
321 spots.
Oh, what a legend.
But you know how I like stats.
Yes.
Where were you pre-buys? You were 270th. So you're not too far off. You're 51 spots away from that.
all that effort for nothing.
You'll be better than 270th after this week.
Thanks for that confidence boost.
Yeah, okay. Didn't give any my way, dog.
I'll have to trade hard to get, for that to happen.
Now, I tanked the week before the buys because I went from 3,000 to 6,900 that week.
Look at you playing in the thousands.
So therefore,
Big movement out
I'm
there.
better now because I've moved up to 5-6. So I'm doing better than what I did it from the start of the buys.
Well done.
That's how you play it. Tanking the week before
So
buys.
hang on. Because you're only a few weeks off that really bad tank week. Where is your rank?
I've had two bad tank weeks, actually. What is it now? It is a rank of 5,636.
Right. Where do you want to get to? Because you need to keep playing. You got 9 weeks or
I'll
so.
get to top 2,000.
That's all right. That's
Maybe.
a good goal.
Top 2,000. Here I
It's
am.
not
Cal,
awful.
you haven't been there before.
Here we go. Listen to this. Top 2,000. What a goal. Well done, mate.
Oh,
a goal.
you've dreamt of that every other year.
I have. You're right.
And there's every chance that there's still a chance that I finish ahead of you the way that your team is
Yes,
sliding.
you are right. There is
Anyway,
a chance.
I had
it's bounce back
1947,
week, yeah.
and I'll take that every day of the week.
Here it is! That's what you did, Jenny. You stuck it right up them.
Now, I was keen on Jason Horton-Francis all week, but that shoulder that he had at training, and Roy, you said he looked like Ace Ventura there. So it meant that I did a pivot to Luke Jackson. Pretty good effort there.
Wasn't he good?
70-odd points difference. But, yeah, with no Sean Darcy's 3 goals to go with 48 hit-outs up against a debutant, it all added up. And I'm very, very happy I pulled the trigger on that one.
Well, it can all add up and still not happen, but he just got it done. It was outstanding. Now, mine, this one, it just melts my heart because I love giving a +3 to someone I love. And my boy, despite his horrendous teammates, Sam Doherty absolutely stood up. He had 131, 29 posies, 16 marks.
16 marks.
Wham, bam, thank you, ma'am.
I'm going to mine to the guy that I bought in, and that is the Ruck Pig, Brodie Grundy. 121. Now, he's gone at 130 in his last 4. Lowest score in there of 121. He did have to do it against
so you got him in for his lowest score.
I know. But still, against Sweetie and Vicentini,
Yeah.
the Ruck Pig got it done.
It was the most disgraceful display I've ever seen.
Because it's just not acceptable.
I might have enjoyed Luke Jackson on the Thursday night footy, but I didn't enjoy the Bombers getting flogged. And I didn't enjoy Zach Merrett.
Oh, what was that?
57 points.
What?
He was in some trade plans, but I just thought,
Backed him in.
surely Zach. My thinking was, too, is going, everyone else would think that's a value price for Zach Merrett. So if I trade him out, should have traded
Can I
him.
just back
wants
up
him.
the truck for a
Bad call.
minute?
Yep. Yep.
Pre-season, number 1 ranked midfielder in the competition.
Yes.
Now-
W. Dog.
Let me have a look
No,
here.
not even number 1 midfielder. Number 1 off the draft board.
Yeah, that's what he did. Oh, your draft team must be humming, dog.
Well,
He's doing well
good thing
to
I
be
didn't have
ranked
pick one.
5,000.
Yes, he is.
With
And
calls
that
like
that actually drops him down to 99.1 average. Come on, Zach. I still think he can do it. He can still get his 10th season in a row.
Dog, there's no chance.
Yes, he can.
That's not happening.
Wow. All right, mine did make me throw up. Not only made me throw up, made me have to order a new phone because it copped it into the wall when I saw my captain sitting on the bench for the last 15 minutes.
Now, maybe. Maybe.
I'm not even going to
There's
get
an
to
issue.
see what I saw on his leg, on his lower leg, because then I will throw up again. But Bailey Dale, with the season low time on ground, as captain, in the easiest matchup you have ever seen, 87.
Okay. My -3 goes to Lachie. Can I say it?
No, you can't because he got injured. You
Right.
cannot give a -3 to someone that gets
He didn't know which
injured.
Lachie I was going to say. Anyway, so we'll go with Sinclair instead. 64 for Sinclair
Yeah.
against the Pies. Hard matchup.
Yeah.
But when Nasiah goes 61 points more than you,
He's a much better player.
that is
Well, yes.
ridiculous. Imagine if you went the call there of Sinclair over Nasiah and you get a score like that. Roy.
You told people that.
At least I backed it and did it.
No,
Like,
you-
it's not like yes, I did. I went the way I
Okay,
said.
fair
No,
enough.
you didn't. You already had him when you were giving that
Oh,
advice.
here he is.
So, anyway, Michael Barlow.
Yes, it is the Michael Barlow medal. That is time for us to award our votes for the cash cow of the year.
I said it was damn close.
It was.
Well,
Not that close.
It's not close.
Sam Davidson, if you still got him, you would have been happy with his 108 up against the Tigers. So 27 touches, 9 marks. Kicked a goal there as well. So he's now equals second in the Michael Barlow medal. He's up 443K for the year. So
Impressive.
nice work. Harry Roaston, he roasted the Suns with a score of 83.
I like it.
He had 75 the week before. He's actually, if they didn't have this bye,
Yes.
he would have been like the cash cow to be picking. So
it's cooking.
20 touches, 5 marks, and 4 tackles. Good one, Roy. But the thing is, he's in the midfield. So 65% CBAs. His time on ground is increasing too.
Yes.
So could still even be a target.
I think he is.
Bye.
I think he is.
When he's there. Levi Ashcroft, he had a 79 on Friday night. Most people have probably traded him. But if you did hold for
Yeah.
now, like you got a nice little farewell, because that probably would have counted in your...
Definitely.
team.
There's got to be a name for that. Making it from this round one through to the buys. Like it's some sort of milestone.
Well,
for
he's
a
the
rookie
leader.
like that.
So he's on
Yes.
24 votes at the moment. That's 7 votes ahead of the pack.
Yeah, and he's still in the top traded out players. So he has made the distance
He
for
has.
some people.
Number 2 votes, goes to Carl Warner. So we love defensive roles. That helps. So he was good because his mates back there racked up in Ryan and
didn't they
Clark.
just?
7 marks for him. So, 2,640 owners he's got.
Good on
That's
him.
more than I thought.
Well done.
1 vote goes to Manny Liddy. He scored 74, so easy to see him out on the ground, cow, with his leg sleeve. So, he was found a fair bit there, 17 touches, 5 marks in his second game. But for the first time ever, I think we've done, because normally there's a count back for the votes.
Yeah.
It's if you get equal votes, which happens often, scores, you go back to the week before, the higher one from the week before gives them the edge to go up.
Right.
Okay.
This week, though, two blokes got 74 points, Liddy and Archer May.
Yeah.
And they both scored 42 last week.
Incredible.
Normally
What?
you count back then the week
Yeah.
before that. No, mid-season draftees have only played these 2 games.
What?
So they both get 1 vote each. I was going to go half a vote. Nah, going to go the full vote.
How much time and effort did you put into that?
That's a lot of effort.
There's a lot of thought. I like my stats, Cal.
I just would have flipped a coin.
That's why I respect you. Whoever
So
I
Archie May
saw
gets that.
first.
But how about
gets
that?
the win for
Archer
me.
May was pretty bloody good too.
He was.
I'm
He
glad
was.
that I did that. So he kicked 2 goals, 6 marks for him as well.
Yes.
So
And if he had teammates that could kick it to him or to advantage, wow, he would have had a thumper.
Here's the news of the week you need to know on the official AFL Fantasy podcast.
all right, a bit happened on the weekend. Let's go through it in chronological order. Xavier Dersma. Hamstring tightness for him. Bombers have got the bye, so we'll see what that looks like off the end of that because there's probably a few draft teams there. Darcy Gardner was a late out for the Lions and Bruce Revel came in. The Bruce calls in the game, like from the crowd, was quite loud for a Geelong home game, so they must
The
have got behind it.
microphone must have been right in the middle of a
in the pack of
pocket
the
of
family.
Lions
Yes,
fans.
yes.
Yeah.
All right, moving on to Wiedering. Did you watch that? He went down, and I thought he was game over.
Yeah,
but he
not
came
bad.
back on, so
He's gutsy.
that's handy for him.
One of the few.
Charlie straight out of Comburn. That shoulder, whatever he hurt his back.
Oh, he
thing,
looked
he
sore.
was sore at the end of that game. Like, I
Incredible.
wouldn't be
Why was
surprised
he
if they
playing?
missed him this week. Yeah, I don't
Was that
know.
not
'Cause he only had the
foreseeable that
1
that would
week
hurt?
out, didn't he? 'Cause
Yeah.
he did that in that Bunbury game.
Yeah.
Now, Miles
Crazy.
Bergman, here's a shoulder, and it actually really affected him in the second
Certainly
half.
did.
Stayed out there, so
Yeah.
that was big, like it did for old Hornbag Francis. He did play, but
Yeah.
only had 67 points, but a couple of low scores there. So, Berg, that's disappointing because he has been good.
He's
and
been good.
Was probably a target there.
A stray
as well.
dart that was shot at Horn Francis at training.
Got him
hit
as well.
Bergman.
Too many.
Innocent bystander.
Papley, he looked like he was game over too.
He did.
He wasn't happy.
He
about
was
that.
not happy.
And,
No.
But he came back on.
He
so-
wasn't a happy pappy.
Hey!
Good one, destroyed.
Oh, I'm on fire.
Prior to that game, Joe Berry was a laid out with Finlayson. He came in as the sub. Now, the big laid out of the round, though, was my man, Mateus Filippo,
Oh,
which
yeah.
happened just before the
Yeah,
bounce.
poor
So
dude.
it was super late. So the calf there, he was upset about it too. And Burns, I reckon the paperwork was too hard for him to change their subs. And just said, nah, Burns, straight out there, mate. You're named on the half-forward flank. Go.
Yeah.
Because Travalia was the sub.
doesn't
and they
seem to
could've-
make sense.
No,
does
it
it?
makes no sense.
Because if Travali was already in the team, anyway,
Classic Ross.
that's what they did.
Classic Ross.
Like,
Which
he was
that would have been
warmed up
annoying for
properly.
you, wouldn't it, Roy? Travali could have got some more points.
Yeah, no, I was actually disappointed about that because realistically, it would have been smarter to trade him than a red dot if you knew he was vested. So I was like, I went from disappointed about the vest to, oh, here we go. He's on. Do you know, I actually was about to put him on the ground.
Oh, because you thought that was going
Going to be better than like a 60 that
It
I
would
was
have been
currently...
like such a short amount of time too.
Yeah.
Like you wouldn't have nearly
No,
got
I missed
done.
it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Correct.
Lachie Whitfield, cow,
Wow.
concuss. Who got him
King.
from Gold Coast? Which
Yes.
one is he?
The big one.
Who got him?
Come on,
Which King is it?
you tell me. I wanted to
Is
test
it Max?
you. No, he's St Kilda.
What's his brother's name?
Oh, don't you know it? Come on,
Daniel? What's his name?
Ben.
Ben, yes.
There you
That's what I thought of.
Got him with the coward punch.
Oh no.
King hit.
Oh, King,
King
God.
hit. Nice one.
Seriously.
Now,
Just
you know
brilliant.
what a roll.
Now, I can have a bit of a whinge about this.
You can.
right?
What?
But-
Because he was on 27 points.
And humming.
And then
Oh.
he went in the sheds
That deserves
and lost
more.
3 points.
How does he lose 3 while he's in the sheds? Now, he's had a bit of a history with concussions.
Yeah, so I've done the maths, cow.
Yes.
The 12th day is when they play, because they play Friday night. of
So is that good?
Round 17. So it's good. So he's available for that. But that history of concussions,
Yes.
could they look after him?
They potentially will.
We need to actually
They
know
could.
a little bit more about this, I guess. That's probably the thing.
So when they...
'Cause
when
he
they
played
talked-
on, though.
Yeah, he played on, but then he went to them and said, I don't feel right.
Yeah, okay.
So that's not good.
No.
So especially for someone with the history that he's got,
Yeah, no, hopefully he's all right.
Hopefully he's
so
all right.
technically by the book, he'll be available.
He should
available,
be.
yeah.
Just hoping that he's...
But if you were stacked with
quick
your round
recovery.
16 players,
Well, if you're splitting
that could
hairs,
be a...
that would be one. Well, the thing is as well with him, it's a
But he's
break even of
dropped such
150
coin.
now.
oh,
Like, he will drop under 900,000.
Can't wait to get him
That
cheap.
is so
after
cheap.
Cal paid top dollar for him.
Oh, like 1.1, I think I
What
paid.
is he averaged for you?
Since I got him,
Yeah.
it's like 88.
Playing half forward.
not
Does that
ideal.
include the 24? That's not awful.
It's not awful. Without the 24, it's like a 90.
Because he's a good player.
99. But, yeah, not for what I paid for.
No,
it.
no.
But he's going to be cheap for
Top
everyone
dollar
else
cow.
and a
He
nice
is.
little run coming up.
He does.
Also on Sunday, Riley Sanders was laid out with illness, and then Adam Treloar. Rewind to another
know.
podcast, just copy and paste, but
Yeah.
a calf there for him, so he was subbed out with that.
It's hurting my keeper team.
I reckon.
I reckon you all care about that a fair bit.
A lot.
The keeper, we're doing our little.
Yeah.
We have waivers off. You're not allowed to do any free agent drops, so we're having ours at the moment.
We have a little mid-season.
Mid-season drop 2, pick up 2.
I look forward
in
to
a
it every
draft.
year. So we're only doing 2.
Yes,
only
we're only
two.
doing 2.
Oh, I'm halfway there. Right.
Just firing up the WhatsApp, trying to get people organised for that.
I tell you what, it's bloody slim pickings when you're
Yes, it
last
is.
pick as well,
Yep.
in it.
Yep.
Oh, yeah, there's not a lot going on.
There's
there.
always a nice, probably 5.
Those
though.
first
Like a
couple
Ned
were
Long
good.
and-
Yeah, it
those
sucks.
guys,
It's
yep.
a game changer for those plebs down the bottom of the ladder.
It is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is that you?
Yeah, it is.
Well done.
You're dominating. Aren't you on top?
Yes,
you
I
are.
am. I think points against is extraordinarily low. I think people are just letting me feel good.
All right. More Keeper League talk.
Yeah,
later.
sorry, play on.
Bailey Dale, I just wrote his name there because he did have that strapped calf.
He did.
So I've looked up the photos,
Why are you
Cal.
saying that with a smirk?
Because you talked everyone into making him their captain.
Look, I did. I was very
He's
hot
got
on
an
him.
80.
Well,
Should have been a
so bad.
ton.
he was
So
on track for a nice little 110
110.
maybe.
It would have been.
But, geez, 15 minutes on the pine.
It was all junk. He
Yeah.
missed the whole junk period.
And even when they were junking, he
Yeah,
was
sitting off.
avoiding it.
So he must have been.
How's their 5-day break into this week?
Well, is that why he sat so long?
Wow.
I think so.
We hope so.
So the thing is, it was obvious sitting 15 minutes with your calf heavily strapped. They even had injured guys coming off, and he didn't budge from the bench to go back on.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
So they play on Friday night.
At least we'll know.
At least we'll know.
All right, Magoos news. Couple of names just to let you know of. Dev Robinson just gets points. 29
he loves
disposals,
it.
14 tackles, 147. Now, Jake Lloyd was dropped, responded, 38 disposals, 8 marks, 143.
It's a good effort.
I went Caden Cleary.
Yes.
30 touches for him, 9 tackles and 119.
It's more like it,
Now, our
Caden.
pig Tom Mitchell had 27, 13 tackles
13
and
tackles.
125. That's the piggy Mitchell that we know. Hugo Garcia, does he come back in for the Saints? 26 disposals, 10 tackles, 106. And Hugh Boxall had a 20 disposal game. 7 marks, 7 tackles for his ton. Keep an eye on Charlie West, who kicked 6 goals for the Pies. 102 points for him. So he's got ruck forward status, 230k, so he could be
Okay.
that basement
No one's broken into that team.
No,
that
they're
we're
not.
throwing down. Elijah Sardis had 37 disposal, 122. The revolving door at the Bombers there. Liam McMahon for the Bombers, though. He kicked 5 goals, scored
Yep.
a 75, so he was a mid-season draftee that could be another one in the mix and a watch there as a
Definitely.
forward to
Yep.
come in at a 230k forward for us. Look, but
It's the only thing that Essendon are good at.
what, giving us rookies?
Yes.
Well, what
That's
are we, 11?
all-
Up to 11 now.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's all they
I've
provide.
had a fair chunk of them too. I think.
Yeah.
But I love this from there. He got mid-season draftee, picked up from Carlton, leading goal kicker there with 24 goals. He's now Essendon's leading goal kicker in the VFL with 14 goals.
Surprise, surprise.
Imagine going to both like trophy presentation nights.
Can you imagine back in the day if you had a foot in the door at like the Blues and the Bombers? You'd be feel like the king of the world.
You would.
Now you
not.
feel like I won't say.
And I just did want to throw in Bustling. Geez, can he get a game? Can he give us a heartbeat off the bench
Come
at some
on,
point?
Bus.
I don't think so.
29 disposals, 8 marks and 105.
They're just in too good form. Now, while we're on my keeper league team as the
Oh.
main focus of the show, with this drop off,
Yeah.
Tom Mitchell's in the barrel
Ooh.
for me. Obviously, a big fan of Tommy, but he's in good form here in the
He is.
Magoos. Can he break back into this?
It's interesting.
Could he give me a little boost through the season, or do you reckon they're not going?
I'd be surprised if they did.
Right.
And if they did, it would be half a game for Pendles or half a game for Steele, you would think.
I feel like I'm going to win the flag, and I want Tommy on the trip.
Fair enough, too.
So I probably
keep
just have
rolling.
to hold
We
it.
have a bench of 12, so our squad is 30.
Oh, he's
Play
staying.
18.
Yeah, keep him
He
right.
can stay there. Cal, do you have anything for this? Probably not. Well, what did we see on the weekend?
Okay.
There were a couple there. Windy on Nick Daicos was
Yep.
still pretty brutal, but
It
Nick
was.
fought through it.
Gosh.
For the first time.
Is Nick the first player to ever get tagged?
Yeah.
Because does
There
that
was
have
some
to be
dirty
the
things
headline?
there,
around it,
though.
isn't it?
There was a few dirty things there.
Nothing compared to what Diesel Williams used to put up with.
That's right.
Right.
Who was the
Seriously.
St Kilda tagger that used to sharpen his stops to rake the the shins of? Who
Yeah,
was that?
feel that wrath.
Baker?
Oh, don't. You better be right if
think
you're
it's-
putting
yeah,
someone's
don't- is that
name
right?
to that.
Anyway,
Oh, speaking of, did you see that gash in the leg? Who was that? Was that the North Melbourne player? Oh, Darling. Did you see that in that game? He must have got a stop and it's like slashed his leg.
oh yeah.
Who did it?
Don't know, someone with
Sharpened
sharpened stops.
Might have been Baker.
It was a chincotta because he's a tagger.
So let's have a
Oh,
look
no,
at it.
you're just as bad.
So Windhager, he has Sarong in the barrel this week.
Yeah.
Has to be.
I think so.
Has to be.
After two
Sarong's
massive
been
Sarong games
huge.
too for
and
fantasy.
kicking goals.
Yeah.
He's been so good.
He'll
so
cop it.
Windy will 100% go there this week.
Yeah.
What was the other one I saw? Your mate Chincotta.
Yes.
So that's either the Butters or your Rosie. He went to Butters in round 20 last year.
After doing that sort of half back or half forward tag on the half back last week on Caleb Daniel, you were a big fan of that, Roy, as a Carlton supporter.
Caleb, I love Caleb. He's in my team, but not even a damaging kick. Has someone in the Colton coaching panel had a look at, Caleb Daniel's getting a lot of possession? Well, subtract his 10 kick-ins. All of a sudden, he's not really getting that many because you can't tag that.
So Daicos plays.
What was that all about?
I know.
So,
West
yes,
Coast?
it'll be Butters.
So who's West Coast have that they could possibly send to Daicos? Because they'll try
Does Graham
something.
go head to head in the midfield a bit? Not head to head, but like that's his
maybe
job. That's his defense.
because he has and can.
But he goes nowhere near.
No, you wouldn't think so.
Daicos is too.
So he should get off the hook, you would think. Then the other one is James Jordan against the Bulldogs.
Yeah.
So interesting to see where he ends up going in that.
Bailey Dale at half back.
Could be a halfback role, or could be an Ed Richards.
If Bailey Dale plays.
If Bailey Dale plays with that heavily strapped calf.
So what Nick has done well here, because the taggable, untaggable, like tag that goes with players, it comes and goes throughout
does.
seasons.
Yeah.
But he still racked up 30 with the Saints completely sacrificing one of their players. Like, they were getting so exposed at centre bounce because of that tag, and then Nick swinging, and the gap was just there for the taking. Like, it's a big sacrifice.
It is.
And if they're going to abuse it that bad, I think they might have freed Nick up for a couple of weeks.
I agree.
Yeah.
All right, let's get into it for this round. It is round 16, the final of our bye round. We finally got there.
I had a lot of
It's
them.
another
nice
milestone to tick off
It is.
It is.
on our journey.
Gets us down to 9 rounds to go. So our final bye round, round 16. Who's on it? We've got the Lions, the Bombers, the Cats, and the Giants. Now, they have plenty of fantasy relevant players.
This is the hardest buy round
It
known
is.
to man.
And I reckon a lot of really well-ranked teams will feel a pinch this week because it's those teams, players from those teams, I saw it, that have got them there.
Yeah.
A lot of them. Not all of them, but a lot of teams.
Whereas teams like Dog, no pinching.
It's,
No
This
pinching.
is his attack week.
Right.
Bailey Smith, obviously, is the most selected player, and
course.
also in that sense too, going to be there in teams. Non-negotiable. You do not trade him out.
No,
Again.
and this is coming from you. Exactly. He's been there. It's not good.
Even the fact
is it?
that he's coming off 90, Cow, number one captain, you're not seeing him that well at the moment.
Oh, he's rattled. Bailey Dale's rattled.
Yeah, they're rattled.
What can
all
I
right.
do?
Have a look at Hef's stats there. Do you know only 3 of the top 100 don't have Bailey Smith?
Don't they?
That's interesting, isn't it?
There are people in the 100 without
Yeah.
Bailey Smith.
Incredible effort.
How have they done that?
Just taking the big fella on.
Incredible.
Yeah. Did they trade him at that last injury and are holding on because of that?
I don't know, but
I honestly don't know.
imagine sitting top 100 and you don't have.
I reckon they traded him
Dominate.
out
Laid
more
out.
recently.
Yeah,
like
that laid out
in-
a couple of weeks ago.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Well, it's worked.
Levi Ashcroft is number 2, but he is a trade. This is where you go. You thank him for your work if you've still got him
Definitely.
there. Then it's Lachie Whitfield, who's interesting.
It is.
So you could move him?
I've thought about it.
Yeah.
Because there are options around him. You've got obviously your super uber primos.
Yeah.
Super Uber.
Yeah, super uber. It's a new term in fantasy. And then you've got your downgrades like your Callum Mills.
Probably
and
will
those
be,
guys.
you know.
Yeah, super uber. So they're like your top tier super uber premiums.
That's right. That's a different
So can
category.
you do it? Yes, you could, because there's no guarantee that he will play in round 17.
You'd have to be in that sort of heavy position to be considering trading out these top 6s or top 8s or whatever.
So a lot of good teams would have been coming last week knowing that this week they're going to have to split hairs and move on to at least hold rank and get rid of some players that they've really attached to that have done nothing wrong that are Jets. The fact that he now copped that unfortunate concussion, high break even, no guarantee of coming back, he does become the one that goes. Because in a splitting hairs situation, you'll take anything, and that's a fair bit of stuff.
And there's options as well.
And there
Like
are.
defenders are fantastic
Yeah.
to be buying
Our
into,
teams
but
aren't
now
complete.
his price is down.
Yeah.
Like, it does make it harder.
Our teams aren't complete until we've got midfielders
Full of
chocked
defenders.
with defenders. Yeah.
Isaac Kako, obviously, he can go. Nick Martin, another one to hold with the defender forward status. He's up there. Angus Clark can go. Zach Johnson can go as a rookie, but they've still got some cash to make, possibly.
Yeah.
Max Holmes, interesting. He had one of his lower scores of late
Yeah.
on the weekend, but he's sitting there. Zach Merrett, you feel free to trade him
He
out
can
as
go.
well. Zorko, Roy, considering it.
I don't want to do it, but I think he's going to have to go for me.
Yep.
It's not ideal.
Just to balance it up.
Just to balance it up.
Yeah. But if you had Whitfield and Zorko, then Whitfield would go first.
Yes, definitely.
Well, Ashcroft turned up on the weekend, and I traded him out.
So did I.
Great
It's
move.
always going to happen, though.
But he's probably one that you can comfortably move because he's not sort of the top 8.
Yeah. It's the nature of the buyer's beast, unfortunately. Like, if you're going to get through it with some form of holding rank, you're going to have to cull for balance purposes.
Lachie Ash, you'd want to be holding him, I think. Would you hold him over Whitfield? Obviously, there is
Yes.
that injury there.
He's been incredible.
Grime Myers in that. He had a 70.
Yeah, it wasn't good.
No, you got to hold.
Yep.
You do, because it's the forward line.
It is the forward line. And the biggest thing about this, you start breaking down which ones you can get rid of.
Yep.
And a big thing in fantasy is that trade regret. You hate
100%,
getting bitten on the backside, and it's going to be a hard watch.
Well, we've got
We'll
9 weeks of this.
We'll have to watch Max dominate for 9 weeks. I'm going to watch Zorko. He'll drop a 150 on my head at some stage.
At some point.
It's a tough watch. But those names that we're talking about, one thing when you're trying to work out which one to trade out, you have a look at the fixture. Because really, you don't want to get rid of any of them. Have you seen who, like, the Bombers and the Cats play straight off this bye?
Yep.
It's
Tigers
ridiculously.
are in there, aren't they? Who else was it, Cow? Where's the scale?
Are you talking about the scale?
Yeah,
Yeah.
it is so.
The Bombers go,
Easy.
Bombers go Gold Coast,
Gold Coast
Richmond.
and
Yes,
yeah.
you can't get rid of them then.
And Richmond for the Cats, isn't it?
Yeah, straight up.
Yep.
You can't do it, can you?
Can't. Gotta
Because, yes, I know Zorko's going to bite me badly, but those guys are doing it instantly.
Agree.
Now, the Josh Dunkley's the only other one there with plus 10% ownership.
Oh, you turned up.
He turned up this
Didn't
week.
he?
So
Yes, completely different dunks. Back to
10 tackles.
stat stuffing dunks.
Yep.
Where's that been for 6 weeks?
now, we did mention Max gone there. So we all made that move. I didn't really want to do it.
Here we go. Came late to the
Got
party,
rattled.
old dog.
Well, no, didn't get rattled. It was more about the fact that Jackson presented himself, because I was all about Horn Francis. It was 100K more, and this was a way of dealing with that.
Yep.
And I came out with better trades, and all that worked out really
Smelling
well. Obviously,
like
when you get
roses.
a 140 from one of your trade-ins, you, the rest of the weekend, your feet are up. But we did that. So we're looking at Max now. That's the trade regret type thing. But we did that in essentially to try to get us closer to that 22 players
Yes.
on field, because that was definitely a donut for us.
we could not
would have had a
cover it.
0 there.
Yeah.
That probably is a little bit different this week with some of your sideways trading, because you may have someone to cover, but geez, where do we sit at? Like, I guess this is where we go into this week. We've talked about those proper players. How many are you looking at this week?
I'll I'll probably have to trade to hit that 18,
Okay.
hopefully 19 proper players. And last week,
Which is pretty good.
That would be good, but it's sacrificing players I don't want to get
right.
there. And last week when I counted proper players,
there
I
you go.
obviously miscounted
Yes.
heavily.
Yeah.
Because the 60s and 70s I saw throughout my inverted commas proper players
Yeah.
were everywhere.
So post trades this week, and this is what we've always talked about and tried to lead towards, is having that completed team. That you've got a team full of players that you're comfortable with having on field.
Yes.
Yeah.
So no rookies, if you wanted to call it that.
Yeah.
Are we all going to be there at this round?
Yeah.
No, I won't.
So this is, if I stick with my current trades, I am 22 proper players.
Yeah.
Now, it's far from a completed team because it's got people like Caleb Daniel
Yeah.
still in it. But yes, it's 22 with no rookies
Okay.
on field.
Nice. So I'll be
So-
21,
Yep.
but my plan there was to rotate your Zach Johnson and your McCarthy through that last spot.
How did Zach Johnson go for you this week?
Well, how does
If
he
you
go
were
for
doing
everyone else? He turns up for everyone.
So,
Not me.
do you know what? This is a funny thing. So, with that, so I'm at 22,
Yep.
right, going into next week, right?
Yep.
Now, if Tom McCarthy is treated like the absolute messiah again
Agreed.
by the Eagles and,
Yep.
you know, goes a comfortable 90, taking kick-ins, getting looked for in a panic mode by every teammate out there, I could revert back
Yeah.
in order to then upgrade to a real Uber premium from someone like Caleb Daniel.
Yep.
You know what I mean? So if he's really good and looks ground-worthy again, I could go back to one rookie on field quite happily.
Yep.
But obviously I'll wait and see.
So we hopefully want to get there. That's
Well, I'm
the
there,
line.
but I'm happy to go back.
Yeah. And everyone look at your teams, prioritise it, use your click and drag on the desktop site to get them all in order. You might even get them in order for what it's going to look like after this week as well before you
I do that
sort of
sometimes.
go through it. It is nice to do, but obviously your little blue dots, you are shuffling those to the bench for this week. So this is the next question, how many premiums or how many people are you going to have sitting on your bench that will be in your team in round 17?
Right. Well, post-trades, and I've been working on this for a few weeks now, I will only go in with 3, I reckon, this week. 3 on the bench, which I think is fine.
So I'm down to 2.
Yeah.
And that's Baz Lenker and Josh Dunkley.
Right.
Because I've missed a couple of those good ones like Nick Martin.
Oh, mate, Nick Martin. I can't
and
believe
the Geelong
it. All people.
boys.
Oh, yeah.
Don't have either
Holmes
of
and
those.
Myers.
Yeah.
5.
5
And that's after your trades.
5.
after trade.
Yeah.
So you're coming into round 17 really good.
You
So
will.
it's-
So you're going to tank this
You
one.
look
Another green
incredible
vest.
round 17.
This
Another
is traditionally the round I throw. No, so missing for me, Zorko and Whitfield.
Yeah.
Whitfield could go to a Mills if I really wanted to. And then in the forward line, it's Martin, Myers, and Baz.
Wow. This is incredible. So,
I knew I stuffed it up, but
You
this
kept
week...
buying these round
Yeah,
16
I know.
by
So
players.
you
We
will-
kept mentioning it.
Yes.
you will slide this week, right?
Yeah.
Based on that.
Yeah.
What the strength you should come out of it with, though, if you do traditional rookie downgrades and upgrade this week in another position, you should come out with a thumping team. Would that catch you back up quickly on what you slid, do you reckon?
You ever tried to climb up a wet slide, Roy? No. I don't know if it will or won't. But at the end of the day, I don't want to get rid of Martin, don't want to get rid of Myers, can't get rid of Baz.
Yes, that's
Right?
true.
Especially with the games they've got coming up.
Yes.
So then it comes down to whether or not I offload a Whitfield
Yeah.
just for
Yeah.
like a Mills.
Yeah.
Anyway, so this week I will have 16 proper players
Yeah.
and 3 rookies on field.
Versus our 19.
Yep.
That's a significant cash grab as well, though, isn't it?
Yeah, it
Whitfield to Mills, injured guy,
Yep.
humming guy,
Humming?
Hmm.
Yeah, he's
90% time on ground, scored 100 basically.
Yeah. So I still might look at doing
roll.
something like that just to strengthen it this week, knowing that I can get Whitfield later on
Look,
and I don't have to lose sleep about him playing in that Friday game.
I haven't been forcing my advice on you the last few weeks because you have been ranked really well. I haven't want to wrecked it.
Do you want me to get rid of Whitfield?
I highly recommend fielding a stronger team than what you're currently dishing up this week.
No, I'm happy for you to keep sliding down.
Yeah, all right.
Just
okay.
Tank. Well, let's look at the trade targets. Now, I'm going to go out on a limb here, and we'll talk about the teams that are coming off the bye to begin with. But
Yeah.
Roy's number one trade target, if that's not Tom McCarthy, I'll go he. That's a saying, isn't it?
Probably.
Maybe. Anyway, Tom McCarthy would have to be the number one trade target.
Yep,
if
he
you
is.
don't have him, you've got to get him in. Still under 300K.
Yep.
Come off
He
the
was
ton.
the most traded in player last week.
Yeah, and now he's going to do it.
Everyone
back with
must
a
have
bye.
him.
Yeah.
So, yeah, that's number one.
Yes.
Do that. Teams off the bye or players off the bye. So, Jordan Dawson as a midfielder is probably the midfielder to target.
Yes.
That's the premium that you might like. Good
Yep.
matchup this week to give you a little bit of instant reward, I guess. Then the forwards, it's just ugly to go into anyway, but Dylan Moore could be one that
Yeah.
is a little bit of value there
Yes.
or what he could do.
Yeah, he has shown enough to be in the conversation now.
Then the other one is Tyrell Dewar.
Dewar.
Yep.
His role, he's under
Yeah.
500K. So if you were in a position where the completed team is still going, I've got a bit of an ugly thing at an
Yes.
F6 type spot, I think he's a great one. Like, if you did the Cooper Lord stupidity, can't believe he got subbed out on the weekend. Come on, 24
Whipping
points.
boy.
Anyway, I would make some cash by going him down to Dewar.
Yeah. Well, he's not going to get subbed.
No. Wouldn't think
And
so.
that role was looking good. So there's not many names really. Oh, there is Melbourne. Max Gong, would you trade him?
Well, he's too expensive. No.
No, you wouldn't.
Now, West Coast do
Right.
come into a couple of hard games here, 2 in a row. So Collingwood and GWS.
Right.
And so do you know what that means for Dewar and McCarthy?
Not a lot of.
Ball's going to be down there.
Well, that's true. But still,
The funny
defenders
thing
don't
is-
score well against
No,
those teams.
No, except if your name's Nasaya.
Well, that's true.
Yeah.
He breaks all the rules.
He does.
Rule breaker.
But they're probably not necessarily the guys you're getting, apart from McCarthy. So it's all going to be coming from what we had. Right, let's go back line. Mills is probably the value, the guy that we want. He looked great.
So Royce
Started very well. Just tailed away a little bit at the end, but
He did.
He was just in a role. The role's there. If
Yeah.
you're getting 90% time on ground,
Yes.
that's working for you.
Gosh, that's good for your body too.
Yep.
Signs for his body.
Yep.
Hardly played in 2 years and he's rolling out 90%.
27 touches, 8 marks.
This is a guy who's averaged 110.
He knows how to
twice.
do it. Yep.
Obviously, then you can be hitting the premiums.
Yep.
The side's got to be right at the top.
That's my big miss. That's why my team will not be taken seriously until I've got Messiah.
Shees is hitting.
Oh,
form.
and him.
Hard watch Shees.
Well,
Come
he
on,
is.
dog.
That was such a myth.
Dog. I love how he said that same thing about Nasaya.
Yes.
He just keeps them a little secret. Tries to block everyone from getting them.
Obviously hasn't worked.
No.
Except with
Rankin.
me.
Yes.
If I can just beat you blokes, that's all I'm here for. Rightio, so midfield. I don't know who you're actually targeting. Like we've said, you're targeting those defenders
Yeah.
to put in there if you
That's
really
who you
want
want. Yep.
to. I don't know, Bont, he's at value.
Yeah. He's a good pick.
Look, and Daicos
Had a
has a
very
little
easy
bit of a
run.
Daicos has a nice little run here where he won't cop a lot.
Yeah.
So he's got to cop something, but
Yeah.
no real.
Because Bont's down over $100,000
Yeah.
in the last couple of weeks.
Oh yeah,
Butters,
he's at a 50.
Butters is cheap as
He
well.
is.
Someone that cops a tag, obviously, but gosh, anytime. I think he's available like 160K less than his original asking
Wow.
price or something.
Sarong's gone up in price. I don't know if I'd touch that. Not
You
with
don't
Windy.
go anywhere near it now.
No, so 2
One-
tags in a row.
One,
Coming
he's
up.
not cheap, and he's about to cop a whack twice.
A Windy and a James Jordan.
It couldn't have been a better wake-up call for the competition about what happens if you let Caleb run free.
Agree.
He's a machine.
And kicks goals.
Yes.
Rucks, we're not buying into at the moment, but what would you do? Because no one's got a buy now that you've probably got a ruck of.
Tell you what, there's a shuffle in the R22.
There
He's
would be.
there, so
Yeah.
X is out.
100% he's out.
He did come up against a dual.
He did.
Dual Carlton Rucks.
Yep. Doesn't mean he has to fall on his sword.
Okay.
Gosh,
So who's in there now?
they're not exactly. I know they can be.
What have
both
you done with
restrictive,
it?
actually.
Who have you got
Who's
there?
in there now?
Well, I haven't pumped it through the old Atari 260 yet, but it's going to be
2600.
the 2600. That's the one. It's going to be Max has to remain number one, and it's going to be very disrespectful to either English or Grundy who was left out.
Yeah. Yeah, because so Max this week plays against Witsy.
Yeah.
84 already this year, 84 last year against him. Then rolls into the second hardest, which is Riley O'Brien, into the fourth hardest, which is Xeri. So over the next 3 weeks, maybe even 4 weeks, I think we'll see a little bit of a drop-off from Max.
Well,
Now, of
maybe
all
it
the things
won't be
that you've
disrespectful.
got wrong this year, geez, I hope you get this one right.
Well,
Because
what
we
do you-
made a
what-
big call to
what-
trade him out.
No, you just copied what we did. you didn't do anything but just shadow us.
Are you telling me the Atari ST is going to tell me to put English and Grundy 1-2?
I'm telling you that, no, because English has a tough run coming up after this week as well.
Right, well, there it is. It's-
Commodore 64 cassette.
Yes.
I'll rerun it through that just to double check. Well, it's probably going to end up being, realistically, Max and Grundy.
Yeah. And
And
Old
I
school.
apologise to English, though.
yes.
English is disrespected there.
He's
He's been very good.
Oh,
hasn't
he's been amazing.
Yep.
So good. Vintage.
Forward line, do you just pay all that cash for Kennedy because he just somehow
Yep.
hits his scores
Roy.
in that range?
Stop listening to Dog on this one.
Oh, well-
He gives great advice, but he will not allow you to ever spend up on someone, even when they're worth it. In that crappy forward line,
Yes.
he is more than worth it.
How does he always score between that 107 and 114?
Away. He
done it.
finds a way.
7 out of the last 8, I think.
Yep.
Yeah.
Finds a way to not be too good or too bad. Just
One score this year over 115.
keeps you happy.
I think McRae's an option that you
He
can be
is.
going for.
Crazy,
the
yeah.
900.
So am I paying up for it, Kennedy, or am I going the value of your Jacksons, McRae's and stuff like that?
You are paying up in the forward line.
Yes! That's what I want to hear.
Yeah.
Is Jackson an option still?
Yes, just
There's-
not as exciting.
What if
There's no way Darcy comes
Yeah.
Back
What
into
if they
that team.
name him this week?
If
There's
they,
no
name, if they
way.
name Darcy this week, even though Jackson has shown the ability to keep scoring 90 with Darcy, you're not bothering.
No.
You're going elsewhere. He remains an option if Darcy is not playing.
Okay.
How long
Yes.
can you wait too? Because they'll name him on the extended bench because they play the last game on Sunday.
They do.
Well, yeah, that will be quite team dependent whether you can just launch into that.
Right. Any
Fair.
other forwards worth considering there? Horn Francis, we wait now.
We're
We
not
wait.
touching that.
No.
What was it, 67?
Yep.
Sam Darcy.
Oh, he's
Oh
good.
my
It's just
goodness.
unbelievably good.
Well done, anyone that did that.
Yeah.
I just, it was an option, but you like sort of going,
100% it was
still a key forward, and
Yeah.
you go,
He's literally built different. That's not even
He
just
is.
the saying.
No.
That he literally
You've
is.
actually
you
used
mark it
the
at
word
3.9
right
metres in
term.
the
Yeah.
air.
So
It was an easy game,
it was.
but every game's easy for him.
that's what it's like, isn't it? So Andy, they even I would not be putting my prize ball in the ruck. I would
No.
leave that
Yeah.
for Timmy.
That's
and
you,
that,
Tim?
Yeah, but they even put him in there, so he even gets a few little hit outs, and he racks up touches.
He's elite.
He's going to be someone over the course of the next few years that we actually have in
He's
our
going to
team.
break some rules.
A key forward.
Yep.
Back in our team. Not since Nick Rewalt will we doing that.
No.
He's got every chance to score 200 like Nick Rewalt.
He does.
He does.
He'll have a day.
He will.
Mm.
If he's got like a real cruisy game coming up, I'm looking here, West Coast round 23, Essendon round 20.
Yeah. For some reason, I still can't bring myself to do it. If I was ever going to, it was going to be leading into that Richmond one.
Agreed.
And I certainly flirted with it, but didn't do it.
Well, it is round 16, the final buy round. The trades that people are making at the moment, Tom McCarthy is the most traded in with Manny Liddy. Bit of cash there,
Yes,
under 300K for him. Bo Allen, Cooper Hines and Archer May. Hang on, I've put on my filter. What an idiot.
That's right. That's what you do, dog.
All right, let's have a look at the most traded in players. Head of round 16, Tom McCarthy is there at number 1 with Manny Liddy. Cash.
Yes,
I
cash.
like that. Under 300K. Callum Mills, value. Tyrell Dewar is there. And also Sam Darcy hits that list.
Oh, wow.
So he is still a trading
Yep.
player. I guess you'd love to do that off the back of scoring that 114
Yes,
as well. And
he's a jet.
still value at 836K. Just outside the top 5 is Luke Jackson there. And then people are going to Nasiah. Colby's still value as well in there. Now, the most traded out that we've got, all Bombers to start with. Angus Clark, Zach Merrett. Zach Johnson's in that list as well. But Lachie Whitfield sits there too, Cal, at 3 with Hugh Boxall at number 5. So Lachie Whitfield could be a trade out at this stage, Cal. Have you been twisted into moving him?
No,
yet?
at this stage he's going to hang around, and I'm getting rid of Clark, Red Dot, Stone, and Lowman, who's been very good for me. Bringing in McCarthy, Taru, and Roy. I'm going to pay up Matt Kennedy.
Yeah, good move.
Thank you.
Roy, you're making a big call of trading out a bigger premium on this buy.
Look, I'm not comfortable with it, but I've got to do it for the buy structure. So Dane Zorko is going to go for me. It generates a bit of cash because I'll go him to Mills. Got to have McCarthy, so Angus Clark will go a little bit early for him. And then Travalia will go to Josh Daicos, who I really like his draw.
Love it. Nice. I grabbed Daicos last week, so welcome on board.
Thanks.
Should be good. My moves, I'm moving a big premium on this round.
Yes?
Zach Merrett.
Are you doing it?
And he's going to Marcus Bontempelli. It also gets me Cooper Lord down to Tom McCarthy, but it gets Angus Clark in the back line up to Callum Mills, completing the Warn Dogs.
Nice.
I won't need to trade again for the rest of the year.
That's not completed.
Rank says no.
No.
I'm ready to take you on, Calvin. You're sliding, and I'm climbing.
That is true.
It'll be like that little XY crossover at round 24.
You've lost me.
And the dog's there.
Got a question for the traders? Tweet the boys at AFL Fantasy or head to facebook.com/AFL Fantasy Official.
All right, let's get stuck into it. First one comes from Fantasy Freak. Thoughts on Rory Laird due to the scale of hardness?
Cal opens up XL, he clicks on defenders and says, yes, you could. Would you, though? So
I don't mind.
The Richmond-Melbourne is what the colours we see here. So very, very dark green Rory Laird. Has he been doing anything?
Yeah.
He's been good.
He's been solid. I wrote about him as a trade target a couple of weeks ago. Let me just find it.
So for defenders, he definitely has the best run. I'd also chuck in, there you go, your Josh Daicos as well. Even Jordan Clark and Luke Ryan, who've been racking up. They've got a couple of nice ones in a row.
All right.
Gold Coast also.
Knew I wrote about Lairdy for a reason. So he's coming off 95, 110, 95, 94.
Wow. Okay.
He's getting it done. And as you said,
And what's his price?
he's just 900 now,
Yeah.
leading into those two nice games. So 908.
Yeah, tick.
That's
Lairdy's
it.
form.
Yep. Ticket all right.
Form and scale. Tick, tick.
Great research, mate.
Well done.
Hacky Harcourt. Hey, boys, thoughts on bringing Dawson for the ceiling score this weekend? Or is his run ahead not worth it? Well,
Nah.
obviously another Adelaide player. So.
Yeah. Take it for the instant reward of 2 weeks.
No, and then it goes Bulldogs and then Gold Coast. So it's
So
not a
still
disaster.
achievable.
It's still a good, but doesn't really bother a guy like Dawson anyway.
No.
He's a gun. And we're easily top
two.
4 of your rolling
Top
22.
two.
Top 2.
Yeah.
Yep.
And you would think he's going to just maybe make the top 5 captains this week.
The only thing that keeps him from number 1 spot in the midfield, dog, is that I own him and no one likes that responsibility.
No, the curse.
Yeah.
It's cursed.
Keep him out of there. Who's in there at the
considered
moment?
number 2? Andy.
Oh, Andy.
Just keep him there. Brent. Merrett to Bont, a good move. Well, if you listen to a bloke talking about that move just before, yes, it is.
Should have
I think
done it
is.
weeks ago.
It's actually a huge upgrade at the moment. But
And
let's
it's
not
costing you
forget.
heaps either.
Let's not forget. And you, dog, as someone who's buying into it, forgets that we copped the pain of that 50
That's only a week
a
ago.
fortnight ago. Yes.
See, I went Brayshaw last week at Merritt's expense.
Yeah.
47-point upgrade. That's a lot. Come on, please.
Please is right.
Corbin has this one. Is your boy Diwa a play for some cash gen?
Yeah.
Also gets a forward on field. Yeah.
Yeah.
It is. It's a play.
I think it's definitely a play.
Yeah.
And you can still be doing these moves. Like, that's the thing.
Yeah.
You can, like, you were talking about your loopy-de-doopy of Johnson and McCarthy.
Yep.
Like, that's still definitely a play.
Like Dewar, he scores earlier in the year. It's not like it was the same role and he popped like a massive, outlier there. It's a clear change of role and it worked. So
does.
it's worth a punt.
Johnny T, hi legends. In your opinion, who is having the better fantasy season? Speaking O English or no, not you, Cal. Speaking O English or Grundy? And is it possible for both of them to supplement Max and X in the rolling 22 by the season's end? Or replace them, I reckon. We'll talk about that.
We were.
Look,
Well, X has been replaced.
Yep.
we
Max is sitting
really
there.
disrespect Timmy.
Yeah. To be honest, is there a world that Max and X aren't there?
Yes.
And those two just go in there. I think there is, especially with draw and everything coming up.
I agree, but Roy's got to put
Marshall's
through his
name has to be
filters.
floated in there as well, though, like because he's got the tools to be.
He does.
a top two.
Always ends the year strong
But if
too.
Max does have that quiet 3 or 4 rounds now, Roy will be right actually to trade him out to move him out of there then. But
Look, I've got to admit, the Atari hasn't had a system update. It's been
since 1987,
It remind me later for the last 30 years. But really, like gut feel at the moment, would really prefer English and Grundy in there.
Yep.
Yes, it's a great tweet because,
Get back to you once the update's done.
and I tell you what, as the season goes on, these rucks are getting access to more points.
Yeah.
There's more stoppages. It's slowing down, and they are just rising. That's why having Luke Jackson, if he's number one, if he's going to remain number one ruck for them, you actually can't go the rest of the season without having 3 rucks. Like you want as many of them as possible.
well, they're always in captains.
They are, and
They're the ones that don't let us down usually.
they filled the podium this week.
They did. So it was Jackson, English, and Witt's top 3.
I tell you what
right.
else, there is some ruckmen that I could get a hit out against at the moment, like in the league, and they are getting absolutely demolished.
Cal used to do a bit of rucking in the day.
Ask Roy. That's how he got all his goals.
He was good at like
Straight down your throat.
He had decent vertical, didn't have much height on his size, but he was, well, believe it or not, back in the day, he was functioning. And he would say, there's a spot there, I'll hit it.
I'll get it to you,
You
Roy.
run there.
Yeah.
He was good at it.
Would you have a record for the smallest boots of a ruckman?
Here we go.
That's not a junior competition.
How do you even link rucking?
Size 8. Has there been an AFL ruckman that has ever... Actually, that's my question.
Okay.
At Sir Swamp Thing, has anybody ever got more than 10 hit-outs in a game with a size 8 boot?
Just because he's not in the
That's
junior
not possible.
comp.
Is there anybody that's got a size 8 boot in the AFL?
Look,
I reckon the Wizards got a bigger boot than that.
I bought a new pair of shoes the other day.
Oh, what
Touch and
size?
go.
Right?
Yeah.
Online.
Yes. That's risque.
When they got here, I
no.
opened them up, right?
Yeah.
And I put it on,
Yeah.
Join the circus.
and it was like massive on me. Okay, it didn't fit, and I'm looking at it going, "What the hell is that?" So when you buy a shoe now,
I'm size 10.
No, I was size 10, right?
Yeah.
But next to it had like 4E written,
Yeah.
and I didn't know what a 4E is. That's like extra wide,
Yes.
and I mean it's like the size of a flipper.
Yeah, they're quite comfortable.
It was huge. You don't have 4Es.
I've had ease before.
You fat feet. So anyway, 4E, I had to exchange them because they were too big, and I thought you guys would enjoy that. There you go. You're
See,
welcome.
This is the thing. You buy runners that are appropriate for your feet, but you buy casuals about 2 or 3 sizes too big.
I do.
So you don't look like
Get on with it.
idiot with jeans and stuff.
Here's that question. Chris Reed, I think we answered this before. Jack McRae or Sam Darcy? Do you grab Darcy for that bit of extra
Have
value?
you ever noticed when Cal walks in his casuals where the fold in the shoes go?
There's a crease across
Yeah.
there, V8.
I got nothing to say.
And it's like not at the toe joint.
Just,
It's
you
at
go
the
in there and
end
go,
of the toe.
oh, yeah, it gives me a little bit more extra. Like, I've got an 8-year-old. You want a little bit of extra room to grow.
I'm
Cal,
growing.
You've stopped. You've stopped.
Thing is, okay, this is the truth. I bought a pair of casual boots, right, once, and with my jeans on, right? I'm looking in the mirror, and look, I actually thought, geez, they look small, right? So that's why I bought those ones a little bit big.
Just go skinny jeans, Cal, so they're nice and tight at
If
the
you
ankles.
wear appropriate footwear with your jeans, it looks like you got bell bottoms on.
Get on with the question.
Right,
Get on with
McRae
it.
or Sam Darcy for Chris Reed?
Oh, see, I'm going McRae.
Are you?
Yeah, I think so.
It just feels a lot safer.
It does.
Guy around the ball the whole game.
Yeah.
But I don't know.
What is there, 100K difference between them?
Yeah.
80? I haven't looked at the numbers. That's just I like
It's about
stats.
100. It's about 80,
100,
80 or 90.
Might be a changing of the guard with this key forward. Though.
Ken Tank, how many times on the podcast will you? How much time on the podcast will you allocate to Roy frothing over Doherty? Well, you got a bit there.
I didn't go over the
Little
top.
froth.
I didn't go over the top.
Now, Roy,
Yes.
I'm seeing vibes that
Yeah.
he won't be in the team next
It's
week.
completely inappropriate, and it better not happen through so-called supporters calling for him.
Why do they not like him?
I've got no idea. It is disgusting.
Of all the people in their team,
Yep.
he's the one they want out.
Yep.
It's amazing.
Oh, it's amazing. All right. Like I know what they're saying. A couple of times a game, there's things he used to ground balls he used to swoop on, or like a handball received that was way off the mark, but he used to still pluck it.
Yeah.
Now, there's a couple that he's not plucking, and there's a couple of ground balls that he's missing.
Okay.
All right. Still far from our worst.
Yeah.
And just has to be out there. There's nothing likable about them apart from things like still having Doc out there.
Yeah.
That's my opinion. It's really wrong.
Correct.
Jared's got this one. Traded dunks over Merrett. Ouch. Awesome. Do I now hold Merrett considering his 2 after the bye should be good, or does he just go?
God. That is a hard one. So we've talked about, like, you can't trade Nick Martin for his draw. You can't trade those Cats guys for their draw.
This is the number one
He's
midfielder in the
got this
competition.
draw. He's got this draw. So who do they play? They've got Tigers in that, do they?
Who's that?
Bombers.
Bombers.
Yes, they do. That's coming up
Is
again.
that who he had the 150 on a few weeks ago?
It is, Roy.
Oh, my God. Well, you have to hold. Dog, you are going to have to hold. You can't trade him.
I've got a bit of looping that can help me make that decision actually this week.
Oh, you're playing the new
I'll
age
put
game.
like Liddy Cent on the bench. They play Thursday night.
Yeah.
If he scores well enough for me to do that, I could hold Merrett.
What would you be happy with?
Oh, yes, that's a question. When it's a rookie, I should be happy with an 80, but is that enough?
Not if...
Who I could get? Yeah, I don't know.
Gee whiz.
Inside the mind of Dog. Wow.
Oh.
What a play.
So then Kylie's got the question. Who goes first, Whitfield or Merrett?
Oh, God.
Merrett. Merrett goes.
So Merrett,
He has
walking
with the
into
risk
a team, the only team he can score against.
He scores 50s. He's got to go. He's just not the
Where-
Merrett of old.
Where he scored at Junking in the back half versus Richmond. I remember that.
Yeah. He's got Gold Coast first. Gold Coast, Richmond.
Oh, so Gold Coast first. That
AC.
should be easy as
Should
well.
be. Should be.
AC's got this.
Can someone answer, please?
I would be trading Whitfield because I'd be scared.
Fair enough.
Okay.
Yep.
And you're always going to get that defender that you want.
Yeah.
Yep.
The only problem is Whitfield's got a pretty green run ahead.
He does.
Himself to be scared of.
But you can get him in a week or two.
Wait till he bottoms out.
Yeah.
I'll tell you what. Merritt's break even still over 130 too.
It would be.
He'll be cheap.
AC, scores from the highest priced players. That's over 1.1 mil this week. Smith 94, Martin 85, Goulden 71, X
No,
84.
it's not good enough.
No, it's not.
And it's just
That's
not
why you don't
acceptable.
pay up.
Oh, Dog. Roy, am I allowed to pay up?
You are paying up this week.
Okay. Thank you.
Tyler wants to know, anyone else have Whitfield as your captain this week?
See,
No, but I'm
That
thinking
sucks.
of you
yes.
because that sucks.
Okay, I can have a sook about it,
Yeah.
but people would have rolled into that.
Without a
and that
doubt.
is-
I wouldn't have blamed him.
it's a great matchup.
Yeah.
He's rolled back to
Yes.
what he's supposed to. He
Yep.
scored well in the first quarter, even though they took some points off him.
Yes, no, he was flying. He would have been big.
That's just where the massive luck component of the game
Yeah.
bites you.
And that's just a reminder to never get too much head wobble when you think you're untouchable and you're high ranking.
And your luck's going your
because,
way.
yeah, you cop one
Doesn't
thing
take
like that.
much.
No, it does
Well, look,
not.
that's why my team's sliding. Just bad luck, Roy.
Yeah, you have had a bit, to be
Good
honest.
coach out of luck.
Yes.
Nick, need to trade either Martin or Zorko this week. Roy, you've got that decision, I guess.
Yeah.
Can't work out who has a better run.
Yeah, well, Martin has the better run.
He does.
you don't want to miss the instant reward, especially in that 2 weeks. It was 2 weeks ago. It was last time they played Richmond that he went.
The 166.
166 as well. So you can't look ahead, see that 2 games away and trade him. Okay. So it has to be Zorko based on that.
Hayden wants to get rid of Cripper. Now, does it go to Brayshaw or Sarong, or do we go a defender like a Josh Daicos and bank some coin?
Yeah. I like Daicos, and that is definitely a viable play. I like the coin component of that as well. If you want to go mid, it's Brayshaw.
Should be sweet.
All day long.
Otherwise, that Daicos move, Daicos won't be more than 10 points behind Bray.
No, you wouldn't think so.
On most weeks. So if that cash is all right,
yeah,
definitely do that.
Luke wants to know, is Mills a must-have? Not a must-have, but if you're shopping in that area, it's like the best of them.
So not a must-have, but
the value,
genuine value play.
Like, are you better to try to hit that value than try to find 200K to go to a top dog? That's sort of the question.
Yeah, he is an underpriced premium.
Yeah.
So it's about 150 odd K between him and Josh Daicos.
Yeah. It's a lot.
It is.
Jake wants to know, can Ned Long go? I guess you're sort of holding him this week, aren't you? If you held him through the bye, you're trying to get him through the buys.
Yeah, but if you've stumbled on having 18, 19 premiums.
Because he's very achievable to get to.
He's a way to get to, and what did you call him? Not Uber Primos.
I can't remember.
Uber Duper or something.
It's cooler than that.
It was.
Super Uber.
Uber? I can't remember.
Oh, well, that's way cooler. So, yes, you can trade Ned. Funny thing with Ned, even like a super easy matchup like he's got, doesn't necessarily mean that's one of his hundreds he pops. Like, that Hawks matchup wasn't great, and that was 100.
Yeah.
But against some easier teams, he's, you just never know. So upgrade him to an Uber Premium. Yes, holding, he should be fine as well.
Do we get rid of the Bomber rookies or hold? I think you can trade them.
You can.
There's probably some cash there to make, or have them to still be an emergency for you, which is handy.
So Clarkie's a prime example. So is he a fully fattened cash cow? No. His break-even's still only 30 or something.
Yep.
But am I happy to trade him out now, especially to get to someone like McCarthy?
Yeah.
Yes, definitely. Way better scorer and a bit of cash for an upgrade.
Yep. Mm-hmm. Colby or Mills, if you're making the decision?
I think I'm Colby.
I think I'm Mills now.
So Mills is 790 and Colby is 712. 80K? Oh, that's a good question.
That's a great question. I'm Mills on that.
Do we trust Mills?
Yeah.
I think I trust his last 2 time on grounds.
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay. All right, there you go.
But they're both good.
Yep.
Ellie wants to know, is Wits an option for cash gen?
What's
he got, Max, though?
He took full advantage.
He did.
Of, like I said, there's anomaly rucks at the moment.
Yep. Roy could get hit outs again. Could Cal get hit outs against him?
I know where this is going.
If he went up to 10.5s for a week, I reckon that could elevate him up for a 2.
That'd actually be like springs.
Yes.
Like, because you've got that room there, they'll bend and bounce you up.
See, I'm not even commenting on this anymore.
No, I reckon we should call it quits anyway. Time to rock and roll. Actually, Fisher, Daicos or Dawson? I think it's Dawson.
You better go to Dawson.
Yeah.
You've done well to last this long.
Yes, he needs to be there for
He
run
does.
home.
He does.
Plenty of questions
Well,
there. We'll try
is.
to answer more on Thursday night when we're live at 6:15 Cow on afl.com.au and the AFL Live official app, where we'll have lots of great stuff, including Roy's top 5 trade targets.
Yes.
And spoiler alert, Tom McCarthy will be number 1.
Yeah, I'll tell you what though.
Is he though?
It's actually,
You're hitting him well.
yeah, it's must-watch stuff.
Just like Cal's top 5 captains.
They're not so.
Everyone loves a top 5.
He'll tweak that.
Thanks very much for tuning in, legends. We are ahead of this last buy round. That's exciting in one way.
It is.
But also a bit sad because it means that we won't have 3 trades after this week because they've been very, very handy.
That's a worry.
Oh, well, good luck. And for the last time having 3...
Happy trading. 3 times.